What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I have been scouring Amazon Prime to see what other horror movies that they do have to offer on their website, on their streaming service, on their streaming platform, which you can get for $8.99 a month if you are interested. And unfortunately, Amazon does have ads, and I fucking hate that. It pisses me off, and that's what pissed me off about this movie, right? It wasn't this movie's fault, but it started off with ads, and then I got ads every 25 fucking minutes, and that really pissed me off. Because it would just get good, and then boom, ad. Like, nah. I come to streaming, so then I don't have to watch ads. Because ads are on regular TV, and not many people actually watch regular TV anymore. Like, it's all about streaming, so that's where they gotta move the ads to. So, everyone needs to stop going to streaming, so then they can remove the ads, because I don't want the ads on my streaming service. I'm gonna be honest. Fuck off. I'm already paying you $8.99. Is that not enough to keep you satisfied, streaming overlords? But anyway, without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google have to say about Meander. This is a 2020 horror sci-fi, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes, has a 4.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3.5 out of 5 on Amazon. You can watch it on Netflix, Amazon, Google Play, and YouTube. A woman loses consciousness while traveling alone a deserted road, waking up to find herself locked in a series of bizarre tubes filled with dangerous traps. She has no choice but to crawl forward and confront the wounds of her past trauma. So, yeah, that's basically the movie. She is walking down the road, gets picked up, gets drugged, thrown into a pipe, and then she has to crawl through. She crawls for a little bit, and then almost gets crushed by the, room closing. She crawls for a little bit and almost drowns. She crawls for a little bit, almost gets burnt alive. She crawls for a little bit and has to fight to not get burnt alive. She has to crawl over acid. She has to crawl through thorns. She gets chased by a weird monster creature who's also roaming the halls. And she almost gets burnt, but she doesn't. And then she gets put at the start. She has to redo everything. She just wants to die, not gonna lie. But then she works out that she has a code on her arm of left, right, left, right, left, right, go. And she follows that, but she's being chased by a monster, so she has to go the right way. And she goes the right way until she accidentally goes the wrong way by sending the monster the right way, because she took off her gauntlet, which was her timer telling her, hey, you have 10 minutes till the fire arrives, and she throws that down the right way for the monster to chase, and she ends up going down the wrong way, but then she checks what's written on her arm, and she's like, shit, I gotta go that way. So she then follows it, and she ends up in a stomach area, and that's weird as fuck. She then has to kill the creature, and then she runs into her child, which died, and that's her past trauma. And the child's like, hey, come this way, come with me, stay with me. And she's like, no, you're not real. And then she tries to escape, and she touches the exit, but it's not a real exit. And then the movie fades to her in a forest with her daughter, and that's where the movie ends. So I'm pretty sure she died. I am pretty sure she died in that tube. I don't think the story had a very good ending. Again, it was left for interpretation, but I don't think it was a very healthy, very happy ending. I'm pretty sure she died in that tube. But it was really cool and really tense, because we was set, just watching her. There was very little talking, because there was very little communication between any of the characters. There was one person which she was talking to, and she had to kill him to survive. And there's so many dead bodies, which is fucking grim and already disgusting, and would have sent me back. No fucking way. No fucking way I'm touching a rotting corpse. That's fucking grim. That's disgusting. Even if I was in this situation, this was before the fire, alright? That was a rotting corpse. This is before she knew about the fire. I wouldn't have touched it. I wouldn't have gone any further. I would have been like, ooh, no, that's fucking grim, and I would have crawled back into my little hovel, because fuck that. I'm not playing this game for anyone's sick amusement. I'm not touching a dead body. I'm not touching a dead body. That's fucking grim. But she tanks it and she moves it. And when she goes into the water, I got really confused, because you could see the vent that she was crawling through, because she's an imposter. But to the left and right of the vent was just open water. So why didn't you go left or right and try and swim up to the surface of the water? That would have been my instinct. That would have been my goal. Go down into the water and swim up. Why wasn't that an option? Why wasn't that a thought? it pissed me off how she didn't even think or try to do that. She just followed the vent underneath and ended up in another, like, section of the vent. And I don't know what the monsters were that were crawling through the vent. It looked like people. It looked like people that have been fucked, like, absolutely burned and charred and, like, mutilated. And it looked disgusting, but I believe they were human. But I just think that they were hungry. I think that's what they wanted. They wanted to kill her for food, because I don't know how long they've been crawling through these vents for. So, you know, wanting to survive isn't really a bad thing, but eating somebody else is kind of grim. I didn't understand the crawling through the stomach section either. Like, there was a load of sections that just didn't make sense. Yes, the acid, yes, the thorns, yes, the, like, roof coming down on you. That all kind of makes sense in, like, random traps that you'd find in, like, a maze. But why the fuck is there a stomach section with, like, monsters' faces on the outside pushing in? And why did she kiss one? What the fuck was that about? Why was she caressing one of their faces? Because one, I would have shit myself, being scared that it would burst the stomach wall and get in to where I was, because that's fucking scary as shit. And two, the fuck was the child? Because if that wasn't a hallucination, what the fuck was that? This was all done by, like, one guy or a group of guys, right? Because he kidnapped her and brought her here. So what is their goal? We didn't get to see why they were doing this or what they were doing this, but there was someone trying to help her on the outside in the form of, like, the healer zombie robot thing. And I would have liked to have had a little bit more, like, knowledge on what they were doing this for. Was this like a game show that they were running on, like, the dark web like they normally do? Was this, like, for their own sick entertainment, like Squid Game? Was this for, I don't know, was it, what was this for? It is really creepy and really disturbing, and, like, I personally don't like small spaces, and I wouldn't appreciate having to crawl through all this area, but still, I don't really understand why this was happening, and why it was happening to her. And how did they get a child in there to be like, hey mommy, follow me? Because that seems like a tripping balls section, but we never had her get drugged or anything, and we never saw her get drugged, or, like, got any gas to, like, make her hallucinate or anything like that. So I was a little confused, but it did give us a little bit more backstory onto her character, and onto the shit that happened to her in the past. But, like, I don't think that that's a valid reason to put her in this situation. I don't get, like, she's been through some trauma, yes, but I don't think she deserves this. And the trauma was kind of just there to give us some, like sentimentality to her character, get us to connect with her and get us to feel sad and sorry for her, because, like, she lost a child, and that's awful. But this is going to sound awful, but I don't see where that's relevant. I'm going to be honest. Like, this had no her trauma had no relevancy to what was happening to her at all. It was just kind of thrown in last minute, because we only found out, like, a good, like, halfway through the movie, where I do believe the child jumped out of a fucking window, and I don't know why the child did that, but it looked like the child jumped through, like, a second-story window. But other than that, like, she isn't trying to escape to get back to her child. She's trying to escape for her own survival. So I don't really know, like, why the trauma was necessary, or, like, towards this movie. Like, this place wasn't trying to help her, like, help her understand her trauma, because her child fell out of a window, okay? I don't see why crawling through a vent with the imposter among us to go through stomachs and acid and shit like that relates to a child falling out of the window. It just feels too different, and, like, it just didn't feel necessary. So that did confuse me. However, it was tense, and I did, like, tense up, and I did sort of, like, I was rooting for her. I wanted her to make it out. I don't think she did, but I wanted her to make it out. All throughout this movie, I was rooting for her. I was excited. I was, like, on edge. I was tense. I was, like, literally, like, cringed up, like, hands and arms sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy, mom spaghetti, and it was it was very tense, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how tense it was, and there was some really good close calls in there. And there was really some silly mistakes as well. When she put her knee in the acid, I thought that was fucking stupid. Like, that was a stupid fucking mistake. Because, for one, your arms and legs are on the side of the wall, right? You can feel the side of the wall. So if you can feel the side of the wall, you know that's where the ledge is that you can crawl across, right? Why the fuck would you leave the side of the wall? Like, surely you would, like, try and press as much as you could to the side of the wall, so then you could feel where your hands and feet were. No? Am I wrong in saying that? Honestly, I thought it was a decent movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again because I obviously know what's going to happen, so it kind of loses most of its tension and most of its mystery. So I'm going to give it a solid 6 out of 10. But other than that, let me know what you think about this movie if you have seen it down in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend that you go check it out for yourself and try and expand your horizons on horror movies. Again, it has a lot of good music and very little talking in it. It's all about like the character's actions, and the music plays a pretty big part into it. To set the scene and to set the stage, because obviously she can't talk and do that for us.